I'd like to welcome to the stage Maria, Alex, and Greg, along with Darren, for our next panel, which is going to be Raising a Token Sale, Venture, Crowdfunding, and Overseas. I'm actually super excited for this panel because we have, all our panelists have a slightly different perspective on how to raise for a token sale. So I'll let Darren take it from here. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thanks, Jonathan. All right, I want to jump into this and make the most use of the time. So why don't we do 30 to 60-second introductions. Who are you? What do you do? What are your interests?
My name is Alexey Vladimirovich Kurashenko. It's easy to remember. But you can call me Alex. So I just help companies raise money. And also I'm an advisor of a crypto fund, Cyrus Capital. And we scored hundreds ICO every month. And I think we know something about it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Greg Heiss. I'm the managing partner at Reflective Ventures. We're Seattle-based. We do have offices in New York and San Francisco, so we're a blockchain-specific fund. Our main LP and strategic partner is Archain, which is a third-generation blockchain platform that's here in Seattle as well. We've made about 23 investments to date. We've had the fund open since January, so we're moving at light speed. We've got great offices down in the Pioneer Square area that we're trying to create a blockchain-centric sort of hub. So I would invite all of you to check us out and come down and see. We run as many events down there as we can as well. So.
Hi again, everyone. I'm Maria Karaivanova. I'm a principal with a venture fund here locally called Madrona Ventures. We have $1.6 billion in assets under management, and we are investing out of Fund 7 today, which is a $300 million fund. My interest in blockchain actually in the crypto space started when I was at my previous company, a company called Cloudflare, which is in the security space. And I can't even tell you how many of the companies in the space attack each other or have problems with hackers. So what we provided, amongst many other things, was denial of service attack mitigation. And so I got to know the space from that standpoint on the security angle. And it's been phenomenal to watch what's happened over the past 7 to 8 years in the space.
One thing she didn't mention is that her firm was one of those investors in Amazon's $1 million seed round, which used the Reg D 506B. So first question, so all of you guys have kind of different perspectives but are clearly savvy, active investors. What are the general trends that you're noticing in this space? Clearly I'm pro-STO, but there's billions of dollars being raised globally for ICO still as the market is exploding. What are some of the trends that you're noticing in general from a token sale perspective?
So what I see, so now it's time for dApps. Before we see a lot of platforms and protocols, and everyone want to participate in the protocols, and now we see a lot of projects who run in like a football leagues or something that already can use existing platforms and not hey, we are not faster than a Bitcoin or whatever. We have enough infrastructure platform right now. And I think it's time for new dApps that really change the daily life for people who even doesn't know what the blockchain is.
For us, we only invest in dApps, so we've seen a lot of them. I think we've seen over 500 of them over the last 6 months that we've talked to, that we've taken through some sort of diligence and sort of narrowed that down. The thing that I'm seeing in the trend that is, and I'm excited for this, is that they're becoming more mature. It's not just sort of vaporware in a paper on an idea or idea on paper. It is more they're closer to their token sale, right? Or they're closer to launching the platform as they go to their token sale. So that makes sense to us. So we're looking very strongly at how close are you to being on a platform before we jump in.
I kind of want to add a couple of higher level trends. Since I'm the voice of traditional venture, if you guys have been following this articles around custodianship. So the rumor this week was that Goldman Sachs is looking to establish a custody service. And the reason for crypto and the reason why that's important is because that would enable a lot of the large pools of money and large funds to actually make investment in cryptocurrency. And that's significant because you will see a lot more sophisticated investors eventually getting into the space, which then means that when you're thinking about doing an ICO, you will have the choice of going the crowdfunding way, which is very expensive and difficult to scale and you have to build a community around, or you can just raise from crypto hedge funds or accredited investors and larger players in the space and be very successful. So that's one trend. And then another one that I think a lot about is the fact that from an innovation perspective, this is the first time probably in history that we see so much innovation coming from Asia and Europe and other places that are not Silicon Valley. And to me, that's very, very exciting.
So talking about, along the lines of these trends, you two, Alex and Greg, mentioned DApps or DApps. What types of companies, other than that, might you be interested in? And maybe the other way to ask would be, what types of companies are good fits for token sales? Is it just a DApp or DApp company, or are there other types of businesses that get you excited in this space?
So the best companies for token sale, it's actually coins that actually don't have any kind of business behind it. Yeah, that's true. So look, if you're looking for 10 coins, yes, that's platforms. Actually, the same story with internet. Someone invented, then next we see WordPress and other platforms that allows you to build the websites, right? Yes or yes? So anyone can build a website in 5 minutes right now. I think the next generation of dApps will be the same. So you can create like a dApp for anything. Same story with the App Store. And anyone can participate in it. So, and answering your question, I think we will see a lot of coins that have not like backed by gold or by anything like that, but coins that can exist separately from the business. That is the best coins that can grow on the market.
I think I'll spin it a little bit differently, just because from our experience at Reflective anyway, and in those companies we've invested in, I think we've only had 2 that have done an ICO so far, right? And granted, we've just been doing this for 6 or 7 months, so the ICO side is not what attracts us to the company. Very rarely does it. We've done well on a couple of them that have come through, but that's not the first thing that we're looking for. So I would discourage the ICO first and foremost and see what the business plan, because I'm traditional, so I go a little bit further back on that to see where it makes sense. And then certainly there are cases, as you mentioned, for them to go and do that, but it is not the first thing that we look for anyway.
So does that mean that you're investing in these earlier stage businesses and you're taking a piece of equity like a traditional VC?
At times, yeah. So we take a combination. So there's 3 ways to do it, right? Equity or the tokens or a combo, and most of them I would say we've taken a combination of them. And we're obviously not afraid to do that, but there are traditional plays where we've taken equity, but we're generally looking for a piece in that token side of things.
Maria, anything to add?
Greg, said it really well. And also, Rahul earlier was talking about you should never be building a company in order to have an ICO or sell tokens. And when you come and pitch an investor with that value proposition of I'm going to be doing an ICO or I'm going to be building a new token for XYZ, it's just not appealing. Like, we want to know what's your core business. The one thing I'm very excited about, I'm an enterprise investor, so I care about core technologies like at the infrastructure layer, the application layer, security, IoT. Like, I'm very excited about some of those enterprise blockchain applications. I know we all make fun of IBM and the amount of money they're spending on Hyperledger and some of those implementations, but I think good things are going to come from those types of businesses, and I think we will ultimately all benefit from it because they will legitimize and bring in bigger players, traditional players into the space. So I'm very excited about that.
And so, what do the three of you look for in deals? Is it steep discounts? You want to be absolute first money in? Is it team traction? Is it some of the traditional criteria that VCs would use? Different, the same? What are your thoughts?
I mean, for us, again, going back to for a reflective for me, it's about three things: the team, and the team. Right? I mean, we've heard that before. I think if you have a strong team, you're going to be able to pivot and do what you need to do. So it comes back to very traditional investing, the way that we've all been through it before. I think the space is way too young and it's too early to say we're only going to go after enterprise or entertainment or music, whatever it is. So we've invested across the board to just about every category you can think of. We do look for the team. Obviously, there has to be a go-to-market strategy. And for us, because one of our strategic partners is Archain, we want to see them built on the Archain platform as quickly as they possibly can. So go-to-market is where it is as well.
Greg, do you have a different strategy in terms of how you invest in deals, what you look for?
So first, we have we scored a lot of projects, and we have some filters that not come from traditional, maybe just specific ICO. So first thing what we do, is it scam project or not?
Is it real or is it fake?
Yeah, is it real or is it fake? Because there is a deal. Sometimes you have really good team, but it can be a scam project, not because they want to cheat with you, but maybe that they overpromise something. That's also the scam, right? And we have 15 criteria how we check it. So
what are the top 3 or 4?
3 or 4. First, I have all of them. So first, yeah, if it's cloud mining or something like that, it's probably a scam. So if it's MLM plus ICO, it's 1,000% scam. If there is no clear economy, you can write the notes. If there is no clear tokenomics, so it's a company cannot explain how they use the token in future, it's probably a scam. And the founder don't have a successful business in the past, so it's most of the time it's a scam. So that you actually talking, it's a team. But what's this team talking about? What's their experience? Is it interesting or not? Is it interesting or not?
Yes.
Yeah. So if the company launches on ICO box, so it's half-half. Founders using actors, and there is no real founders on the website. It's mostly happened.
So you spend half your time weeding out the shit.
Yes.
Right. I mean.
Yeah, but there
and
is
then you find the real ones, right?
Yeah. In this shit, you can refine the diamonds.
They're obviously there.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit along these lines. So you're more of an ICO investor. You get a lot of junk, and you two are more traditional VCs, but still active in the space. How important is liquidity to each of you? So in the ICO world, paying $1 million to list on one of the exchanges in the last panel, it could make or break a deal. How do you view liquidity? Is that a factor? And then how do you two view it as traditional VCs? Are you more buy and hold type investors?
Yeah, so we hold about 6 months horizon. So and we're looking for top coins on the market when we buy for ourselves or for our clients. And for a second year, we just help company to raise money as much as possible, what we can. And for equity, it's really hard to predict. So maybe you guys have more expertise in that.
Well, first of all, I don't consider ourselves a traditional VC. So I've been trying to figure out forever, no offense to traditional VCs, but I've been around them too much and I've been through the game too many times that we started this fund because we don't want to be a traditional VC. So we're trying to not even call ourselves that. One thing that we do is we incubate, we move very quickly. We want to be involved in the decisions. We want to take a board seat. We want to be in there because we've done this before and we've chased technologies like this and we've seen what's happening with blockchain. So it's very important that we get in mostly to the early stage companies because we feel like we can add a lot of insight and advice to them with our whole office space, with the incubation side and the things that we can do to help them. That makes us a little bit different. So while we follow, because all of us have financial backgrounds, we follow traditional venture sort of mindset, we're trying to disrupt that whole plan.
Now, are you investing into deals that will have liquidity in 6 months?
Of course,
on Bittrex and Binance.
I don't know about. So we haven't had any so far, right? So we're also building an ecosystem. So we're a little bit different in that way because of who our strategic partner is. But certainly, we do hope for those liquidity events to come, and we will absolutely. We're all kind of here for the same reason. So yeah, we want to see the DApp succeed.
Maria?
Well, at Madrona, we are a day one investor, so we come in at the very early stage, and we are company builders. So, we over the past 22 months had 4 IPOs, not ICOs, not to be confused, in our portfolio. And the average time that it takes a company, say like a Redfin or a Smartsheet or Impinj, they're all here in town, to IPO is about 12 years. Turns out it's very difficult to build a real business, and it takes a very long time to scale it. So when it comes to liquidity, of course, VCs have a business model, and that business model is, to generate returns for our LPs. So we are focused on that, but we are very patient, and we're really, really focused on finding the best teams who are driving disruptions, like Impinj in the RFID space. They started 17 years ago, and takes a very long time for those new types of technologies to get adopted and to get scaled to the extent where you can IPO them. So that's why, having ICOs, it's a different model, and we definitely, even amongst our portfolio, there are companies that are prime candidates to have an ICO in addition to the institutional rounds. But yeah. Hope that answers your question.
So one of the things that's always fascinated me about this market is that it is truly global, and there's money coming in from countries all around the world. So the companies that you typically invest in, are they also conducting big international roadshows and traveling the world? Do you encourage that? Do you help them do that? Or do you think it's not necessary?
No. Go. Okay. So actually, yes. We help company raise money from overseas in China right now, but some specific in China you cannot say, hey, we have money raise or something like that. You go to jail. We're talking about tokenomics, marketing strategy, and so my advice for you, if you go to China, forget about, say, hey, token sale, money raise, fundraise, all this type of words. Just talk about your markets, about your plans, how you plan to make a revenue, all this stuff. And in the United States, we work with investors, but they stay skeptical right now. Market goes down. So and they prefer that you told the mixed combo, some token, some equity. And companies that believe so, and yes, so very important to have a overseas capital from China, Korea, Japan, and from United States. So 2 main source of capital right now.
I think on the roadshows, I've seen them successful, and I've seen them crash and burn pretty bad. And I think while I don't have a list like he has of all the things to avoid on that, I think you can sniff them out pretty well, and I would be very cautious before you do that. I have been on or been a part of some of those roadshows, and we've actually picked up some companies from some of those. So I think they can work. Again, I sort of go back to the principles of where you should start, and a lot of it for me and the companies that we look at, it's about community and how strong of a following you have. That means a lot to us when we're doing our due diligence. It's not how many Telegram members you have or followers. It's about really the overall strategy of the community and how well they're going to back you and push you, because outside of our capital and our funding, it's going to be the community that we believe is going to ultimately help you out. So that's kind of something, if you're looking at doing that, I would strongly encourage you build up your community.
To me, it depends on what you want as a founder. We are Pacific Northwest investors, so at some stage our companies go and raise money from investors in other countries, typically when it's strategic. But overall, to me, it's very important, as Greg was saying, what's the community, where's the team, how do you build it, and that's when it matters who your investor is. Now, having said that, the kind of allure of ICO is that you can get money from all over the world, and oftentimes you don't know where this money is coming from, and there is no board seats or anything, no governance associated with that, so it's a different choice. And to me personally, if I find a founder who wants to raise money from a different country, then I would ask, what's the reason for that? Is it like you don't want to be accountable, or you don't believe in governance? It just doesn't fit our motto, and that's fine. It fits other mottos.
So I want to do one more question, then open it up to the audience real quick for one or two questions. So what's one critical piece of advice that you would give or offer to a prospective ICO or STO issuer who's thinking about launching a token sale?
Pick the best possible lawyers.
I'd say slow down a little bit and take a step back to see if you really need to go as quick as you think that you do.
Build the community first, because people think, hey, we'll launch an ICO and we'll build the community. But it's a Chinese, I don't know how to translate to English, but you need to win the war before you go to the field, right? So you need to build the community first. It's yes, that you actually taught. I'm from education business, and we build the community first before we launch in any kind of conferences, master classes, and everything. So we build the groups, Facebook fans, all these people, and involve them. And we put people, hey guys, what do you think about? Should we go run an ICO? Yes, you already have a plan. But you build a community first, and that's how you win this war.
So build a community, slow it down, be conscious about your plan, and hire good attorneys. So we've got about 2-3 minutes for questions, and we've got an amazing group of investors here. What questions do you have? Yes.
Maybe this is for Greg and Maria. I think a bunch of people in the room are probably familiar with the standard terms you see on an equity offering, anti-dilution, preferences, and so forth. Are there any new kind of terms that you embed in your, Greg, hybrid deals to protect you from a coin value falling, some surprises?
Yeah, there's some terms, and as you know, I mean, you see different deal terms, and they change all the time, but specifically when it's relating to a token sale that could be happening, right? So there's a lot of language in there. We've put some specific language in about valuation and buyback of those tokens and to buy back equity. So there's some of that that's in there. But otherwise, for us, it's pretty standard and traditional. We try to keep it as plain and simple as we can because we're about speed and efficiency and getting through that with the portfolio companies that we're talking to.
Interpret that to mean any coins you get in a hybrid deal are kind of a bonus thing. You're really on the equity term.
Yeah, it's not too I mean, on most of the companies, if we're looking for 15% equity in your company, we're going to say, to keep it very simple, we want 15% of the tokens that you're going to go out on. For us, it's about simplicity and math, and I don't want to get into all that crap that I've gone through with VCs my whole career. I don't want to play that game, so we just go through it as straight on as we can.
Another question. Who's got a question? Yes. Question is, does equity in a decentralized company have value?
I mean, of course, if it's going after an application of that technology that's compelling and the big market, why not? Yeah, it's just all about how you structure it. So it's just like any other investment.
I would agree.
How many of you want to take a 1% of Ethereum Foundation?
Excellent. Give it up for the panelists, Alex, Greg, and Maria. Thank you guys so much.
Very nice.
What question do you...
Your question.
So my question for the audience would be, what is the right path of capital raising for you? Is it an ICO? Is it a security token offering? And what are you offering to investors? What are the economic interests that you can offer to your investors to make your deal compelling?
Thank you. Thank you very much.